So I wanted to kind of we've kind of covered a lot of the identity aspect of this conversation and introducing and talking about the brands there. In terms of the impact, so but by impact, we were looking at what we can do with these assets, how we can use them, and how we can potentially create sort of stakeholder engagement from these assets. So we saw some amazing videos there, Helen. Thanks for sharing those. Jill, from your side, in terms of you talk about the sort of website portal, which I assume's public, is it, or is that an internal facing platform? Or?
It has to be internal only because
yeah.
of the rules around advertising pharmaceuticals in the UK.
Okay. So maybe there's a little bit more that we can talk around the sort of, I guess, internal stakeholder engagement with those archives, with those collections, and how potentially you utilise those through more public-facing activities as well. Maybe the storytelling, the exhibitions, and works there as well.
Yeah. I was just going to say, actually, that's one thing I found at Chivas Brothers, that I probably spend maybe 75% of my time working with marketing teams on whether it's advertising or they're coming up with new advertising campaigns or new packaging, but also events that they coordinate as well. So I often get involved and often asked to be involved in various events that are promoting a particular whiskey or a particular brand. In order to sell that whiskey, sometimes to a sort of a larger audience, sometimes to sort of specialist whiskey collectors. I was involved in one just recently abroad. Very sort of valuable casks of whiskey were being promoted within the event, and the decision by the marketing team was, we think for this particular event, it would be really good to have me there as the archivist to provide the historical perspective to the whiskies that they were trying to obviously encourage the attendees of the event to purchase. And very luckily, several cask purchases were made, so that was quite good. And I did receive lots of positive feedback afterwards, specifically about the archive, saying people were like, "Wow, I didn't know this was people within the company and obviously external customers who were there. All these different stories. We didn't know these existed about this whiskey or this history of this particular element to the history of whiskey." So archives really can make a difference to a company. At least I've found that, and I probably spend about 3/4 of my time dealing with similar kinds of events and campaigns and things like that. The rest of the time that I might spend is probably about 20%. That's with legal teams about very, very slightly less exciting things like property boundary disputes or something like that with whoever the neighbour is to a particular distillery or something. But yeah,